My name is Donnie Wong and I am a systems engineer here at Socket Mobile. With the recent release of our Apple certified 7XI and 7XI RX cordless hand scanners, we have been receiving a lot of inquiries from iOS users who want to know which model of the cordless hand scanner is right for them and what the release of these new scanners mean to the iOS community. In this video, we want to review the most common user scenarios that iOS users are currently working with and how the different features in our scanner models support these scenarios. Basically, our scanners support the iOS devices in one of two modes: Bluetooth keyboard HID mode and Bluetooth serial port profile, or what we will refer to as iOS support. So today in this video, I'm going to be going through a quick demonstration of the 7X scanner in Bluetooth HID mode on the iPad, and also showing the features of the 7XI scanner in iOS mode on the iPad. Let's start with Bluetooth keyboard HID support. Every model of our cordless hand scanner lineup supports Bluetooth keyboard HID support, from the entry-level laser scanners all the way through to our new 7XI series 1D, 2D imager scanner models. In this mode, the scanner connects to the iOS device and behaves exactly as a Bluetooth keyboard would, with the main difference, of course, being that instead of typing data into the iOS device via keyboard, the scanner decodes 1D or 2D barcodes into keyboard input and places the data where the active cursor is located. Every scanner is configured out of the box in HID mode, and all you have to do is power on the scanner, discover the scanner with your iOS device, and tap on it to connect. Let me walk through an example of HID mode. I have a 7X scanner here that has been already paired with this iPad device, so I will simply power on the scanner. And then we'll wait a couple seconds for it to connect the iPad. The beep indicates that it has been connected. At this point, this scanner is now functioning as the main data input device. So if we were to go into any native application on the iPad, in this case we'll just go into the default Notes application, we'll tap on the screen to bring up the on-screen cursor, and from here we'll simply scan a barcode. As you can see, that has scanned the data directly into the Notes application, and the active cursor is waiting for the next available data input method. Every model of our cordless hand scanners also support the feature to bring up or hide the on-screen keyboard of the iOS device by double pressing on the power button in a connected state. This way you can simultaneously enter data either automatically from the scanner or manually from the on-screen keyboard. So in this scenario, you can see that there is no on-screen keyboard on the device, and I'm still able to scan a barcode. So by simply double pressing on the power button, I now have access to the on-screen keyboard as well. For this method, you can manually enter data. Perhaps you want to input a quantity of an item that you're scanning, and then simultaneously scan for barcode data input as well. In addition, double pressing on the power button feature will disable the on-screen keyboard. Out of the box, a standard carriage return value is programmed into the scanner in HID mode. What that means is that after every scan data input, you will receive a standard carriage return plus line feed action in your application if it supports it. For example, as you can tell from these barcodes that are being scanned, every time there's one entered, the cursor moves down to the next line. There are additional functions that are available to program directly to the scanner as well. So if you're looking to add a different suffix or add a prefix, please contact our support department for additional information. Now, what type of users or applications are HID modes suited for? We recommend HID mode for users who are quickly looking for a way to enter data exactly as it is encoded from a barcode into an active cursor field of any existing iOS application without any modification to the data or the data itself. For example, if you need to collect a large number of barcodes and email the data to a coworker, simply look up barcodes in a web application from the browser, or have workers log into an electronic time card system by scanning an employee barcode badge. These are some of the simple data entry examples of how HID mode can and will work for you. So now I want to talk about the Bluetooth iOS support in our scanners. This mode is only available in the recently released 7XI and 7XI RX models of the 1D, 2D imager-based cordless hand scanners, and is the only model that is certified as an official iOS accessory. What this means is that we have now incorporated an Apple authentication chip onboard the hardware. That an iOS application can now be built to work and talk directly with the scanner to create a customized data collection solution. This mode offers application developers, in conjunction with our software development kit, the ability to define exactly when and where the data will be sent to the appropriate fields, manipulate or parse the data ahead of time to send the data in the right format, or to set up behavior of the scanner, such as limiting the scanner to only scan certain barcode types to prevent scanners from incorrectly reading barcodes that are present in the environment. I want to now go over a demonstration of how the new iOS mode in our scanners is supported. On this iPad here, you'll see that we have a socket pad application installed. Now what this application is, it's basically a version of the Notepad version that has incorporated direct support for our scanners. This is an in-house application made from our engineering group using our software development kit. Now in this mode, the iOS mode functions essentially the same way with the added benefits that I spoke of earlier. In this scenario, I have powered on this, the scanner has already been set up and paired in iOS mode to this iPad here. So what I'll simply do is I'll power on the scanner, and as before, it'll automatically connect to the iPad device. However, the key difference now is that this is not the default data input device. I can't not scan any data into just any application. I actually have to run our application in order to use the scanner. So we'll run the socket pad application now. You'll notice you heard the beep for connecting to the scanner, and that did not occur until I ran our application this time. And in comparison to how we did it on the HID mode, I will not have to actually start a new pad or input the cursor or place the cursor onto the application. From here, I can just go directly into scanning a barcode. And you'll notice that a new note was opened up and the barcode input is directly input into the application. There's also no cursor, as you can see. So if I were to continue scanning, you'll see that the data is scanned directly into our socket pad app, and that if you were to tap on our application, you'll notice that the on-screen keyboard is now natively controlled by the iOS as before. This is a quick example of how an application developer can create an application to talk directly to our 7XI series scanner. So what type of users or applications would iOS mode be suited for? We recommend iOS mode for application developers who are creating customized iOS apps either for the App Store or for in-house application development, where you want to control and manage the data and how the users will input the data into your application. These types of applications will generally be much easier to use from an end user's perspective, as they will not have to worry about setting a cursor manually in their application ahead of time to input data or hitting a button to enter the data as well. If you are an end user already using an application that you believe would benefit from having our scanner support built in, please contact your application developer directly to request this feature. So next I want to talk about iOS support for our cordless hand scanners in iOS devices. Now, iOS mode is only available in the recently released 7XI and 7XI RX models of the 1D, 2D imager-based cordless hand scanners, and is the only model that is certified as an official iOS accessory. What this means is that we now have an Apple authentication chip on board the hardware, which allows us to talk directly to the scanner via an SDK. What this really means is that an iOS application can now be built to work and talk directly with the scanner to create a customized data collection solution. This mode offers application developers the ability to define and set up the scanner data however way they wish or however way they would like to set up for their users. For example, if you're an application developer who wants to limit a certain barcode type for your users to scan. Basically, I want to create an application, but I want to guarantee that the only barcode that is ever scanned from my end user's perspective is, say, a code 39 barcode. The SDK allows you to set up a connection to the scanner and make sure that the scanner is set up only to read certain code 39 barcodes. You can even go a step further and maybe define a certain length of a code 39 barcode. Another example of how the SDK in the 7xi series scanners can benefit an application developer would be for the application where you have multiple forms that are simultaneously available to the user. In HID mode, that would be quite a headache, as the user would have to define and dictate ahead of time where the scanner data needs to go. However, with the 7xi and our SDK as an application developer, you can simply bring up the form with your multiple fields and then have the user scan the correct barcode. And what you can do is correctly parse out the data and place the data wherever it needs to go into the multiple fields. So in summary, which model CHS should you purchase? If you are an application developer, you should purchase the 7xi scanner and SDK. It is also bundled with 10 hours of SDK developer support. For end users who just need simple data entry into any existing iOS application and do not need to modify the data in any way, you can purchase any model of the cordless hand scanner family and use it in HID mode. For all end users who intend to use a compatible application at some point in the future that has been specifically designed for our scanners, you can purchase the 7xi, 7xi RX models and use them either in HID mode or with your compatible application when iOS mode is supported. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us directly with your questions. Thank you for your time.